pushed the wrong button. Oh, there we go. Welcome to our April meeting of Jackson Public Schools. I appreciate you taking your time out to come here. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Anybody leading that? Okay. To the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Want to remind you that when you come in, if you wanted to address the board during public comment, to make sure you get a little form from the back and give it to Michelle after you get here, when you get here. Okay, now at this point, Michelle, we have roll call?
Mrs. Brown? Mr. Dobies? Mrs. Mitchell?
Here.
Ms. Acton?
Here.
And Mrs. Fitzgerald?
Here. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion for approval of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes. Okay, superintendent's report. Mr. Beal.
All right.
Shawanda, right there.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the month of April. We are joined today by Ms. Weatherwax and our team from John R. Lewis Elementary School. Parents, I want to say thank you very much for sharing your children with us, and we look forward to seeing and hearing about their experiences at John R. and what they're doing. So, Ms. Weatherwax, if you can share with us the wonderful things happening in your building and share your students, we would love to be a part of that.
Thank you. Thank you for having us today. This is the Lewis Leadership Team, and they are going to present the John R. Lewis Creed.
I am a Lewis Viking. I am alive. Today I will learn and grow. I will be good to others. I will make the world a better place.
Great. And I want to say this is actually some of the leadership team. Our leadership team is actually a little bit larger than this, but I'd like to introduce these students as they exit.
Marin. Harmony. Michael. Dallas. Ayana. Ryan. Adam. Ariana. Sophia. Savannah. Alita. Chanel.
Good job, guys. Thank you.
Ms. Weatherwax, I think we had a happy birthday in there too, didn't we? We had one of your students' birthday.
Oh,
Harmony? Where's Harmony at? Happy birthday, Harmony.
wait a minute. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, dear Harmony. Happy birthday to you. How much fun is that? We get to come and present to the school board on our birthday. Love it.
Totally planned. Thank you for letting us do that for her. Well, thank you again. So our presentation today is actually based on the John R. Lewis Creed. So I wanted to use that creed to highlight some of the things we have going on, as well as the people at John R. Lewis. Every time. Oh, on button. Sorry. Good job, guys. Thank you. All right, so our creed is based on 3 of John R. Lewis's famous quotes. I am a Lewis Viking, I am a light. John R. Lewis said, "You are a light, you are the light. Never let anyone, any person, or any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Release the need to hate, to harbor division, and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness, knowing that the battle of good to overcome evil is already won. Today, I will learn and grow. I will be good to others." John R. Lewis said, "Hold only love and peace in your heart." I will make our world a better place. John R. Lewis was an advocate of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. He said, "These young people are saying we all have a right to know what is in the air we breathe, in the water we drink, and the food we eat. It is our responsibility to leave this planet cleaner and greener. That must be our legacy." I am a Lewis Viking. They're just a few of our PBIS initiatives based on that creed. We have our Making the World a Better Place tickets. You can see the middle left picture is the board where we put all those. Students are recognized by any staff member for exemplifying the John R. Lewis Creed and the John R. Lewis Viking values. And they get their name and the deed announced on the morning announcements and also posted on the board. When that's filled, we have our extravaganza. And you can see the young man on the right is doing a really fun extravaganza activity. You'll also notice to the left of that board, one of our very kind neighbors, and we always want to thank our neighbors. We have wonderful neighbors in our neighborhood, put together this John R. Lewis, it's the U.S. stamps, the John R. Lewis stamps, and he made this whole presentation and gave that to us. So we appreciate our neighbors. We have our Student of the Month. You can see some of the kids with their certificates. These are recognized social media announcements and so on, and then they're also posted outside of the room for that month. We have something called a secret student. So every day, we randomly draw 2 names and go peek in. And if that student is doing what they're supposed to do on task, they get announced and some recognition for that. That also ties into some of our attendance initiatives. We have our Vikings Classroom Perfect Attendance Recognition. Every time a classroom has perfect attendance, they get 1 letter out of the Vikings, and it's posted outside the room. And then when you reach Vikings, the classroom gets to pick a little prize or celebration. And we have a monthly perfect attendance recognition. Every month, students with perfect attendance get a fun activity and a certificate. I am a light. I'd like to talk a little bit about what our excellent social worker, Dr. Kim Weaver, does. That's her in the upper left there, and some pictures of her, some of the things she does with our kids. She does small groups. She does a yoga group that is in our exercise room there at the school that the kids enjoy. She does individual services, push-in lessons in all the classrooms. Of course, the usual assist, BIPs, 504s, threat assessments, and she also works on attendance. Today, I will learn and grow. Our instructional coach, Kristen Kagans, there on the upper left, she has several things going to meet the needs of all our individual students. She works with the paraprofessionals. They are trained by her in best practices for providing the interventions. The paras, and you can see some pictures here on this page, work with the students in small groups or one-on-one. The teachers and instructional coach provide lessons focusing on what the students need to strengthen and develop their reading, writing, and math skills. Our WIN instructors work with small groups of students 3 days a week, focusing on reading comprehension. Ms. Kagans has monthly meetings with the teachers, data meetings, using that data to guide instructions and plan the para lesson plans as well. She meets and guides the WIN instructors And she also meets with the IRIP students one-on-one to aid in phonemic awareness skills. And these are just some pictures of our wonderful paras and WIN teachers working with the students. We utilize a lot of our unique spaces to provide those interventions for the students. I will be good to others. Our behavior interventionist, Mr. James Bradley, there on the right, he has a lot of unique things that he does at our school. He has the Close Gap Check-in program for students. It's an online program where the students can get on and they can address even a certain person they want to help them. They can, we can respond to that, or sometimes it's just the students working through something on their own. He has the Get Right Lab, where he works with students on specific needs, emotional or behavioral needs. He runs Recess Clinic, 1, 3, or 5-day custom modules for students who need some instruction on safe recess and making recess fun and safe and organized. He runs also a bus clinic for students who need some targeted intervention for bus safety and behaviors. He's running a bullying program pilot. He pushes into classrooms, you can see them around on the upper left, with targeted lessons for that class. He pulls in guest speakers from the community who come and speak to our students. He also runs small groups. He does refocus and resets in his office as well. Organizes scheduled breaks for students, restoratives. Our guest behavior interventionist here from the high school, James Breeden. James Bradley hosts him as well, circles, and so much more. I will make the world a better place. We have teams and other supports. These are just a few of the cool things we have going on for our kids. We have an onboarding protocol for new students and families where we invite the family in, and Mr. Bradley, Dr. Weaver, Ms. Kagans, myself, the teacher, all sit down with that family to welcome them and make them feel comfortable and give them information that'll help that student have a good transition and be successful. We utilize Class Dojo, our wonderful Lewis leadership team, who is also our equity team. So they're a very busy team. Our parent engagement team. We have family activities and events throughout the year. Our sensory room is also a workout room. We realized early on our kids really like physical activity. You can see the kids in the bottom left on our exercise bikes. So if kids need to get some energy out, we have that available for them. We have visits from our neighbors. You can see in the upper left-hand corner, mower medics, our neighbors, came and visited and told us about their business and talked to the kids. A local postman came around and talked to the kids. So we like to have our neighbors come in. Our paras do lots of cool things at recess. They do cocoa and popsicles. They have intervention spaces where they work with the kids and they can take the kids as well. They have bi-weekly meetings. They meet regularly with our instructional coach, Kristen Kagans. They run Mileage Club and, of course, Playworks. And those are just some pictures from some of our fun activities this year. We had a painting activity. You can see the canvases there. And in the bottom left, we have our Chelsea Poole, our excellent parent liaison. But we really love to have, and she just ran a vision board family event. You can see like the bottom right and the one above that, that's the families that were making their vision board just a couple days ago. And I would like to invite the board to an upcoming activity at John R. Lewis. It's our 3rd annual John R. Lewis Family Egg Drop Challenge. And it is May 30th at 5 o'clock. If you'd like to join us, you just bring some packing supplies to protect your egg. And we provide the box, the egg, the packing tape, and we drop it from the cherry picker. And we also invite you to follow us on Facebook at JPS John R. Lewis to see a lot more pictures of what our kids and our wonderful staff are doing. Any questions? All right. Well, I want to thank you very much for hosting us.
Ms. Weatherwax, thank you very much. And again, thank you to the parents and to the staff. Your staff does so much. Because it's a small building, people don't often realize this. It just means that everybody there wears so many hats all the time. And I hope that you and your staff know how much we appreciate that and the work that you're doing. Thank you very
I
much.
especially like hearing about the new school you're doing.
All right. Christianetti, it's been a minute since we've chatted with you. You want to give us a quick communications update, maybe break down what we've got going on?
Sure. Tonight, I thought I would focus my report on the EOP procedures and our committee at Jackson Public Schools. So that's our Emergency Operations Procedures Committee, which we formed in 2022 with some of our principals and our facilities, and Michelle is a big part of that group as well. And we have been instrumental in doing a lot of things to move ourselves forward. So as board members, I did think you guys needed to know that we do have the most updated manuals. We worked with a company which is called, it was Codenity, but I forget who it is now, same people. Anyways, we work with them and they helped us to put together our big manuals that each of us as administrators have, and then the smaller manuals, and then the flip charts for every single room, so that everybody's on the same procedures. We also worked with them in developing our reunification sites for every school should there be an evacuation. We also incorporated into our schools that they are to talk about a EOP procedure or event that could happen at their schools at every one of their monthly staff meetings, so that emergency operation procedures are top of mind all the time. Each and every one of our schools has been through a active shooter training, and that came about with us partnering. We made a very concerted effort to partner with all of our emergency services people in Summit, Blackman, and Jackson, City of Jackson. And that partnership really turned out to be very beneficial for us. It is actually who we decided to change 2 years ago using to do our active shooter trainings, because those are the people who are coming to our doors when something happens. And so rather than using an outside company, the police department actually comes and does those trainings with us. So all of our schools have been trained on it, and we will just continue that process and go right back through it as in the beginning, starting again next year. So, and in that process, we've learned a whole lot of what works, what doesn't work. Of course, we've had a series of emergencies over here at JPS, and we always want to remind everybody that there is no actual set procedure that works in every situation. We get a lot of different emergency procedure or emergency calls or things that happen or threats against our school. And there are many factors to go into why we do what we do. We have a team that is a command center as soon as there is a problem, and we work very closely together. And so sometimes it's timing of the day, sometimes it's just location, sometimes it's information we have but may not necessarily be able to share yet. But our partnership with the Jackson Police Department is beyond compared to anyone else. And we do a lot of debriefing with them after every one of our any emergencies that we've had. And I just think that everybody in the community should know that this is a constant conversation at JPS. There is not a month or a week that doesn't go by that we're discussing these things. We debrief from every situation we have. How could we do better? Where did we do well? What factors initiated why we had to make the decisions we made, and we always do it with the Jackson Police Department. So Officer Stallworth has been an intricate part in all that we do. Recently, along with Todd and Officer Stallworth, we did perform the week before spring break. We asked every one of our buildings to perform an lockdown procedure. And in that lockdown procedure was really just a practice, whether they did it with students or staff, to make sure that their procedures are tight, but also that we can make sure that all of our equipment that we have put in with the bond and the safety and security and automatic locking of the doors and everything works the way we think it's supposed to work, and that the administration understands how it's supposed to work. So understanding why some doors might still be open, but not to the outside, just into the foyer because of the access that needs to be had. So those were very beneficial to us. And then administrators were able to put in any concerns that they had. We checked all blinds, windows, about a year and a half ago, we went through the entire district and checked all doors for locking because all our doors are to be kept locked. So this committee that involves so many of JPS employees is something that meets regularly, and we do a lot of work to make sure that our district is safe, and not just that, in teaching everybody what they need to do in emergencies. We always say it's not very fun to talk about emergency operation procedures, and some people are scared of it. Some people don't want to talk about it. Some people don't want to think about it. But I always say it's good to know that your coworker next door to you knows exactly what will happen in an emergency, because when a building gets locked down, Jeff nor I will be in that building. So, and you may be the one who's saving your students and getting these, understanding how these things work and what you should be doing. And we've seen a lot of just real cooperation, and just, I mean, people understand that emergency operation procedures are a part of our day, are a part of being in school now. So I just wanted to update that. If you get a chance, we did an interview with Officer Stallworth on JTV. It was shared on all of our pages, but it's a really good recapture of what that partnership is about and how intricately we work together all the time with our police department, especially in our fire department and our EMTs, just to make sure that we're all on the same page, and that there's something else called a Knox box outside of our buildings, and those have entry keys into the building. So if a police officer gets there, they don't have to wait for someone to open the door, all those kind of things, and those are all updated. So there's so many things that go into these procedures that I don't always think everybody knows, not that we tell everybody either, but because of things we need to keep close to the vest. But I just wanted you as board members to feel comfortable and confident out there that this is a conversation that we are having constantly. We have committees. We are constantly working on making sure our schools are as safe as possible, and that our staff is trained in helping themselves in case of an emergency, and our students. And I welcome any questions.
Thank you, Chris. I'll tell you, that really is, I didn't know 99% of what you just told us. And that makes me, don't you think so? Makes me feel so much more comfortable and understanding why things are as they are. I was very pleased to hear that, and I really appreciate that extent of an effort. Thank you.
And I'd just like to reiterate one thing Chris said, and this is for the whole board, because every year we partner with the Jackson City Police Department to provide us with liaison officers, and we have two that work for JPS, and I want to continue to reiterate my support for this program. They work with our kids, they hear more on a daily basis, they build relationships with the kids on a daily basis to head off, to short circuit, to help counsel students, children through their daily lives in ways that we don't necessarily always see or understand. It is an invaluable program, and I'm very pleased with our support for this, and I would continue to hope that the board would continue to share that support. All right, that concludes the superintendent's report for the month of April. Ms. Fitzgerald?
Yep. At this point, I will entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Moved in support. You get that? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, at this point, we will have citizens addressing the board. And we have two, so I would just call them in order they were brought up here. Nancy Smith and Shanae Selby. Oh, I'm sorry, Shaquays. See, I don't use that kind of a good penmanship for my cues, so. See, go ahead. Oh, no.
It's 5 minutes.
It's a 5-minute max. That's nothing new.
And I think there's a
Thank you. Is that good? Oh, very good. Hi, I'm Nancy Smith, and I am here for State Senator Sue Schenck. It's been a while. I was trying to come regularly for a while last calendar year, and I think maybe I came late summer, and I'm sorry that I have missed several meetings, but I'm glad to be here tonight. Senator Schenck's district is most of Jackson County and about half of Washtenaw County. I'm pretty much her Jackson County person. I stick around town here. I don't go to Lansing too often. I go to a lot of government meetings and municipal meetings, and just try to report back to her what's going on in her district. So I'm just here to say hello, and I like to listen and learn, and I send her notes about what was on the agenda tonight. And feel free to reach out to our office, anyone, if you have a need or a question. I don't have a lot of news for you. You probably know it's budget season, so keep that in mind. And again, if there's a particular thing you want to reach out about, give a call or give an email. And I think I always say this when I come, but coming to these meetings is special to me because I am a retired high school special ed teacher. It's what I did before I took on this little job. I taught at Hanover Horton Schools for about 20 years and Toledo Public before that. And my husband and I have one daughter who was JPS all the way by school of choice, and we were really pleased with her education and the outcomes. I loved seeing about John R. Lewis Elementary. That was very heartwarming. And I was going to say something else about. Oh, today I was at the Jackson Summit to Reduce Violence. That was sort of all morning, and I did hear several really positive comments about your liaison officers too, just piggybacking on what Mr. Beal said. Seems like a good program. Heard it from adults and heard it from kids both. Finally, I'm going to just let you know that Senator Schenck is hosting a town hall meeting next Wednesday evening at the Jackson District Library Eastern Branch, and it's going to be about voting and elections. We're going to have a special guest, Deputy Secretary of State Agogo Adevier, as well as Jackson County Clerk Sierra Soul. And I think it would be a good opportunity for some young voters or up-and-coming voters. So if it's possible, I could leave a couple flyers that could land on a couple bulletin boards in the high school. Some 18-year-olds or those who are going to be 18 in time to vote. It's just a nonpartisan informational session, so I'd be happy to leave a few of those. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I have a question and then I have a comment. So my question is, where, and answer it whenever you have time, but where on the agenda is the place to discuss suggestions, concerns, or areas of improvement from JPS stakeholders such as like the students, teachers, and parents? I've been to the last 3 board meetings and I've never seen that on the agenda unless you guys have another meeting I'm not privy or don't know of. I'm just wondering where that is. And if it's not on here, I highly suggest it becoming part of the regular agenda because, where else are those discussions taking place among the board to see things moving forward? So that's my question. And then lastly, my comment was regarding something that Pam stated at the end of last board meeting. Pam, you stated, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. I'd caution that mindset only because, here's why. Mindsets such as that suggest that conflict is unwelcome when conflict is inevitable, especially among a party or group of 2 or more people. I think the conflict is nothing but a disagreement between 2 or more people that just involves further discussion in a respectful manner. The problem is we as a people, we make conflict negative because we let disagreements go unresolved and they fester into something bigger than it needs to be. And so if we refrain our mind to think about conflict as just a disagreement, respectfully, that just can use a conversation to further understand other perspectives, I think we could encourage more stakeholders JPS stakeholders specifically, such as students, parents, and teachers, to feel more comfortable coming forward to voice concerns or disagreements, etc. And so I'm not one to suggest feedback without providing a solution. And so if conflict is uncomfortable for anyone, I would recommend a conflict resolution training or something of that nature. And that's it. Enjoy your evening. Should I cut
Thank
this
you.
off?
That's the,
Or
Thank you. Yep, just that mic
Oh.
right there with the, perfect. Thank you.
Here you
So
go.
go ahead.
that's the end of public comment. We'll go on to items for discussion. Marcus.
All right, so we have first up our bid award for our food service management company. We're currently in our year 5 of our current contract with Taher. Every 5 years, we're required to bid this out per MDE. So what we've done is last month, we put out a request for proposal for food service companies to bid on the next contract for JPS. The bids came in last week, so we are currently in the middle of evaluating them. There's a matrix that the state puts out that we follow in terms of grading and evaluating the companies. We've got a little bit of background on where we stand at this point. We're still evaluating and receiving follow-up clarified questions to some things that we had. And our plan is to continue discussing this next week at our finance committee in hopes of bringing a recommendation to award the bid next month at the May board meeting.
Any questions about this process? You're pretty well familiar with it? Okay. Food service, program participation, CEP, and meal prices. Marcus again.
All right, so every year around this time of year, we give a little bit of background on some of the programs, food programs that the district participates in with the free and reduced priced meal program, which includes the National School Lunch Program, School Breakfast, Child and Adult Care Food Program, and the Summer Food Service Program. These are all programs that are not a cost to JPS. They're a claim reimbursement for the district. Part of that is the community eligibility provision, which allows the district, based on our demographics and poverty rates, to be able to provide lunch and breakfast to all students at JPS free of charge, which is a great thing. So really the only prices that we would have would be for adult paid meals or a la carte snack items. So again, the biggest benefit is that everyone in the district participates at no cost to them for breakfast and lunch meals. And again, the food service fund is a self-supporting fund, so there's no support from the general fund with food service. And again, no action at this meeting. This is just for a discussion item this month. This is something we bring every year, and we will bring it again next month for board approval to participate next year.
Excellent. Thank you, Marcus. Are there any questions on this one? Any thoughts? No? Okay. Construction manager, RFP. Again, Marcus.
Yeah, I'll
And
take
Jeff.
first swing at it. So
Marcus.
we released an RFP, a request for proposal, to a variety across the state for a construction manager to potentially help us out with future projects as we wrap up the 2018 bond and we start to look at what future projects may hold. A couple of really good, interesting points as we kind of talk about the 18 bond. We are still under budget, and we've been able to stretch those funds and bring our projects in on time. We currently use CSM for our construction manager, and they have done a phenomenal job at helping us to market those prices and give us an appropriate budget with how much things are going to cost. There is a statewide, I'm going to get this right or wrong, there is a statewide infrastructure survey that is going out, and TMP, our current architect firm, was assigned or awarded that bid by the state, but TMP doesn't do the side of proposals. They can help us with design, they can help us with looking at program study, and they can help us with what's needed architecturally, but as far as putting a cost to it, we really rely on experts to do that. And so we are looking at a potential construction manager coming on board to help us price out what future projects may hold. And, you know, down the road, I will be fair with everybody. I am anticipating that we will be looking at some additional projects in a future upcoming bond. I know that, again, Marcus, I don't want to steal some of your thunder, but I know that hopefully next month we are able to come back to this group and be able to talk about a reduction in the millage rate. That's on your docket, correct? We are anticipating bringing a reduction in the millage rate back in May, so next month, because again, we're where we want to be with our 2018 projects, and we're going to be able to reduce that millage rate moving forward. And that would be something we would like to be able to continue to have that conversation of, you know, in the future. So just look for, if you're out there and you're a construction company and you're interested in bidding on RFP, it's posted publicly, and Marcus could certainly help get you more information on that. And we hope to bring that back here for a special board meeting in the month of June. In the month of June, Michelle says, so that we can actually interview those companies. And so the process will look a little different. We'll do that interview, and once we've settled on the interview, we'll be able to take the whole package of what they bring to the table. Marcus, what did I miss?
Not much. I'll just a couple quick details. So yes, we posted the RFP on the state procurement website. It's going to be out for about 3 weeks. So those bids will come back the first week of May, and we'll review and evaluate those and come up with a short list of, I'll say maybe 3 to 4 companies that we want to bring in to interview. Potentially maybe around the first weekish of June, maybe, which would give us time to have the board possibly approve those at our June regular board meeting.
And that's just an important part of the process. We could talk about what future needs we may have, or what we want to talk, you know, what we might need for the district. We know that there were about $170 million worth of needs identified in 2018. We knew we could not possibly do them all. We've addressed about $92 million. That's the $87 million bond plus some interest that we've been able to generate. So we've addressed about $92 million worth of construction and projects. That still leaves a significant amount of work to be handled. And there's a lot of pieces that are aging infrastructure that we're going to have to address. But we need both an architect and that construction manager, because we can't even begin to talk about the project until we know roughly what it might cost. Like, this is what we need, this is what the costs are, and then we can start to figure out how do we package that to be something we can actually achieve. Are there any questions for either myself or Marcus?
Quick question. Marcus, I think this is for you. Generally speaking, how long is that public notice for the RFP posted? And is it multiple platforms that you provide that notice on?
So as far as a timeline, it depends on what you're bidding, right? I think typically the minimum we would put anything out is for 2 weeks. Being the size and scope of this, you know, we're a little longer, so 3 weeks we've done different RFPs for. Where we've posted it, there's a central state website. It's called the State Sigma website, where not just schools, but any government or any entity in Michigan can post proposal requests, and vendors have registrations to that website, so they're always on there checking for new things that have come out to bid on. We do know of specific companies, just construction companies that do a lot of schools, that we try to make sure that they're notified specifically in case they happen to not be checking that day. But yeah.
Thank you. One follow-up question. Do we only engage with the individuals that submit an RFP, or do we actually solicit?
We have sent the RFP to local companies, and if a company, so yes, we will send it out if that has. We've sent it to CSM. They're our current provider, so make certain that they're in the mix. So yes, we can send it out, but we don't actually solicit their business. We solicit a proposal from them. So we say, here's what we've got. We would invite you to apply. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Any other questions before we continue? Okay, it's time for board comments. Lib?
I'd just like to say that I always enjoy when the different schools come and present, and, you know, out of the schools that we've seen, everyone has been excellent. And I hope that continues because, you know, I learn a lot from them as well as they learn from us.
There's a lot going on.
Mhm. Derek?
Thank you. Echoing thanks to all the students that came out from John R. To Principal Weatherwax. I had an opportunity to visit John R. last year and sit in on a meeting with some of the faculty teachers there, which is great. And excited to, as we look towards May for graduations and getting back into a cap and gown again. So.
Thank you. Angela?
I enjoyed too the presentation from John R. Lewis, and Chris, I really appreciated your update, the EOP update. So that makes me feel better with 2 kids in the district and just in general. So thank you.
Having substitute taught from 2005 to 2008, when John R. was Lincoln, it's beautiful. It's just an amazing school, and I did take a tour. So I was really appreciative of the what Ms. Weatherwax showed us tonight. And so this August, I'm celebrating 50 years of graduating from Jackson Public Schools. And so I thought I'd just read the alma mater song. We sing to you, our high school, old friend we love so dear. The Viking memories we share endure from year to year. And as we travel on through life, in fortune, in defeat, whene'er we think of friendship true, our hearts with you will meet.
Love it. Love it. No comments? Okay. I wanted, when I go last, I just have to echo people because they've all said it. Chris, as I told you before, I'm just thrilled with that kind of information. And Lib, I agree with you. The little people are so cute and they are so excited about learning. And you want to just keep that going, you know, as we do. Yeah. She graduated with my husband, so 50 is coming up here. 50 is coming up. Okay, let's go on to the calendar. We've got a lot of things for May, and I hope that you guys that are here at the meeting will consider coming to some of these, because not only if you have little kids and you get the idea of, you know, where they're headed, but it's really, really nice to see our students moving on to the world, to the next step, whatever that happens to be. May 21st is our regular board meeting, and it's in here at 6 o'clock. The 22nd is baccalaureate, and it's going to be at the First United Methodist Church at 6 o'clock. What's really nice about that is the kids run the whole thing. They write everything they're going to say. They do the itinerary or the program, if you will, and it is absolutely breathtaking. I thoroughly enjoy baccalaureate every year. JHS Honors Night is the 23rd at 6 p.m. in the auditorium. May 24th, Pathways, South Central Michigan virtual commencement in Withington Stadium at 1 o'clock. May 24th, the same day, but in the evening, Jackson High School commencement, Withington Stadium at 6 o'clock. And June 4th is a retirement dinner at Cascades Manor for those who are retiring from our district this year. Okay, and at this point, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So support.
In support. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And thank you all for coming. Please continue to do so.